fast martial arts weapons lesson, you'll be training with your bow or your other martial arts long staff. Grab your long staff and follow me. Start with it in one hand, doesn't matter which hand, you're just gonna turn it up from one side back to the other side. This is gonna strengthen your hands, get you ready for striking, for self-defense. This is one of the best street fight self-defense weapons there are. When you talk about martial arts, street fight self-defense weapons, a big long stick is one of the best things that you can have to create distance and strike with speed, power, and precision. But you're gonna get stronger, faster here with this warm-up. 30 seconds in this hand, put it in the other hand, and then the same thing. Gradually increasing your speed. Slow it first, especially if you have a heavier staff. Today I'm going just a little bit heavier. As I let my shoulder heal, I'm still gonna go a little heavier and speed it up. But you're gonna do 30 seconds on each hand with this warm-up move. And then I want you to go from one hand into the next hand. This transition right here is very important when you start to fight. Combat bow or bow staff self-defense. We talk about the best martial arts weapons for self-defense. Right here, big long stick, point it, strike, strike, strike. But learning how to go from one hand to the other hand. First like, thank you. First like, and then first strike. That made me think of this, right? From here, when you're defending yourself especially, you don't need to wait for permission to defend yourself. Sometimes you want to strike first, strike fast. Not Cobra Kai way, but just common sense, right? Especially if they have a knife. You've got a big long stick, put your stick right through them. Smash the knife out of their hand. But you're warming up here from one side, the other one. Good, thank you. Send them to me. I'm a little bit busier this week, but I'm still gonna get to see it. And if you guys send me an email, info@quantumstrong.com, I'm gonna add you to the distribution list. I'm sending out some more content now. I'm starting to get used to that format. But you can also see kind of a suggested curriculum guide or a checklist. You start to learn this stuff. What do you do first, second, third? Right here, this is my left hand. I turn it up like where we started, but the right hand on top, palms facing away from each other, pinky to thumb. My right hand turns, the left hand slides under. I'm doing an overhand butterfly spin. I want you to learn this as a basic level spin. Keep your hands together. But send me that email, info@quantumstrong, all one word, quantumstrong.com. And I'll put you on that email list. I'll send you a bunch of stuff. And all the training is always free. I'm never gonna ask you for a dime to train with me. I'm gonna give you everything that I've got. If you want me to look at your videos and grade you and give you whatever, and you don't have to, but if you want me to do that, then there's a small fee, but it's not much. Stop here, push back the other way, palm facing away from you, thumb to pinky, turn, the other hand just slides under. 30 seconds each direction. Awesome. I'm glad I could be of some value. Just keep training. You'll outgrow me. You'll need somebody better. But you can start with me. I love that. All right. You did 30 seconds on each one of those spins. Put it in your left hand or your right. Doesn't matter. You only have two hands. And you're going to do them both evenly or equally. So it doesn't really matter which hand you start with. There's no wrong way to do this workout. This is a single-handed spin, single-handed bow spin, and you're doing an infinity sign, kind of a sideways figure eight. Maybe I'm just tricking everybody, right? As my little son says, he says, "You're tricking me, Dad. You're making me eat my vegetables. I don't want to eat them. You're tricking me." Maybe not. All right, so this is a forward figure eight. In front of the body. Let me slow it down one more time just so you see that. Kind of carving it forward with my thumb. Down. Goes out to the left side. Into the right side. And now reverse it. Pull it up. In the reverse, you can think about pulling, carving that sideways figure eight. Good. Yeah, as long as you do a little bit every day. You can double it up. You can do 2 a day, 3 a day. but at least do a little bit a day. Even 5 minutes is enough. 5 minutes adds up over time. But you're pulling here in this reverse spin. Now put it in the other hand. Start with it in front of your body. This is my right hand, right foot forward. Figure eight, slowly. Gradually increasing your speed. 30 seconds here. Bring this to a stop, and now start to reverse it. Reverse it. If you have a big question for me, you want me to respond, I can't always read the screen. Put them in the comment section below. Or send me that email, info@quantumstrong.com. Do my best to respond. This is that reverse spin, 30 seconds on each one. Go back to the first hand, pull it out to the side of your body, and do the same spin, but instead of to the front and the side, or the left and the right, now you're going to the front and the back of the body. Exact same spin. I think it looks cool. It moves a little bit faster. Just in the front and the back of the body, and then reverse it. Pulling it up, pulling it up. There's no question. You keep getting better, you keep practicing, you get better, no question. Good point. Then, in the other hand, from here, starting to speed it up. This forward spin, just pushing here to push that shoulder back in. I'm getting some clicking in the shoulder. Nothing to do with the staff, it was too many pull-ups. Pulling and pulling. From here to here. A little faster, a little faster. I promised on one of these videos over the weekend I was going to show you a drill you can do to get your right side and your left side closer together, because you're dominant on one side. One side's going to be smooth, the other side's going to be chunky, clunky at the beginning. But I was going to show you a speed accelerator, some way to get there faster. All right, now let's go into some strikes. Palms facing out, left foot forward, striking to the face, striking to the face. These are as simple as punching and punching with a stick in your hand. Punch to the temple, punch to the temple. Remember to bring it in and through. Don't stop out here. You didn't punch anything. Don't stop here. You touched lightly. Go through the target. So punch hard, 2, 30 seconds here, just punching up to the face, and then change the angle so you're going into their knee. Getting that good long front stance. 1 foot forward, 1 foot's back, pushing down. 30 seconds, as hard as you can. Push, push, strike with intensity, strike with the intention that if you're defending yourself, you're only gonna have to hit them once or two, just like that. All right, from here, we did our basic strikes up and down. I want you to do a high block. And from here, just pushing straight up. Imagine a fist is coming flying at your face, or maybe their staff is coming down on your head, or maybe the knife is coming for your throat. And from here, I'm showing you slowly, but you're not gonna do it slowly. From here, up. Make sure it finishes above your head, right? If you push and you're gonna get hit. Push it up, up. From here, also down, up, down. So now you have a high block and a low block. You have 2 high strikes, you have 2 low strikes, you have a high block and a low block. That's a very simple way to get started. This is a fast martial arts weapons class. I want you to know how to defend yourself and spin. Do some cool stuff, but also know the guy's coming down the street, you put your thumb at him, push this way, right? Block up, strike him in the face, strike him in the body, stab him through the eyeball. Now, high block, low block, back to some strikes. I want you to we'll do the strike first. Take the right hand under and the left hand over. Put the left hand on your shoulder and the right hand in your armpit. Start over, bring it here, start from here, push the right hand down while you're pulling left hand over and pull this out. This is a horizontal, 2-handed twisting strike. It goes really fast. When you turn your whole body into it, you're gonna take his head off for self-defense, street fight self-defense. Bring the right hand over, left hand in your armpit, strike, bring it out, strike, 2, 3. It's just a full turn one way and a full turn the other way. It's not a spin, it's a turn. Turn, turn. You can turn your whole body to the side, look where you're striking, look, look. And then when you bring it down and down, same motion, down. Same motion, meaning it comes to your shoulder, into your armpit. It's extremely powerful because both hands are still on it. You're twisting, it's extremely powerful because you're turning your whole body into this block. Now he's trying to hit your leg and you're blocking down here. He's trying to hit this knee and you're blocking down here. You have low blocks, and you have these horizontal strikes. And they can all be strikes and they can all be blocks, right? You can even do them up, But this idea of twisting your hands, get this motion down. So let's review real quick on the strikes. Strikes, these are all strikes, just like you're punching. Super simple, I like to keep it simple. High block, low block. And you're blocking the hand that's carrying the weapon. If he's got a sword or a machete, you're not trying to get this in the way of the blade, right? And if that's all you have, that's okay, but it probably would cut your staff. But he's bringing that down, block his hand. And then after you block his hand, smash him in his face. Smash as hard as you can because it's self-defense, right? And then crossing and crossing. Appreciate that. This turning. These are strikes or blocks in a real traditional way, right? I'll show you a form that uses that. It looks kind of cool. One more block with the two hand, and that is bringing this across the face. Kind of a horizontal or a vertical block. Vertical, pushing across here, and then across back this way. So 1, 2, 1. And notice that when I block, this hand always stays above my head. Don't get in this habit. Not only do you can't see, your hands are in the way, but you're not gonna block anything. The power is right in the middle of the staff. 1, 2. From here, the two-handed spin with both hands facing out. Yes, I'll show you the stances. You're gonna come around, down, and over. Now this motion is a strike. I'm hitting you on top of your head. Hitting on top of the head, and then this hand comes over and also hits on top of the head. So it's 2 strikes on the same side of the body. Starting here, the hands don't come off and they don't change positions. Palms out. I'm gonna back up so you can see a little bit better. So I'm gonna start on my left side. Left hand is up, push down, and then this becomes a blocking motion. Imagine it's coming in this way, push it out of the way, and then your left hand is up on the right side. Left hand down, that's a strike. Right hand, strike, block. That puts the right hand up, down, over, block. I call this the Darth Maul spin because this is one of the spins that Ray Park uses when he plays Darth Maul in the Star Wars movies. Ray Park is the actor, martial artist, stuntman, all those things. But he does both these kinds of strikes, which is more Japanese in style, and this kind. But because the double-bladed lightsaber is 2 laser beams or whatever, this one looks better for a lot of the moves, coming through the middle and deflecting, especially dueling against the sword. These are really effective. So down, over, 1, 2. That's all that is, just that kind of spin with the 2 hands. Now, back to here. I want to talk about the next level. In the next level, I put in the link below. Put the level to the first level curriculum, second level curriculum. The next level strikes are going to start here. So it's an opposite or opposing grip. Palms facing each other. From here, I point my thumb at the threat. Practical self-defense is based on principles, strategy. My basic strategy, number 1, pay attention to what's happening around you. Number 2, get some distance between you and the threat. See that stick? That's perfect distance. When your hands are in this position, this kind of pull cue, push, right through his throat, right? Right through his eye, right through his midsection, right into his groin. It's a very effective strike. That's just a simple strike. You can also push with both hands. On the second level, you're gonna work on both thrusting strikes. Just a simple thrust, and then that sliding thrust, both this way, and I mean, it's super effective, right? Right through your face, right through your eyeball. That's all we're doing. Right into the groin, right into the knee, through his throat. So from the beginning, I'm walking with this street fight self-defense, one of the best martial arts weapons for street fight self-defense. It's just a big stick. And from here, I point my thumb at the threat. Let's say the threat's right here, right? I'm behind my stick. Get behind your weapon. Put the weapon between you and his knife. If you have nothing, it's just flesh and lots of blood that's gonna come out and organs that can get cut up and then you're dead, right? If you have a stick and he's got a knife, you've just changed the scenario completely. Now he's gotta get around that long length of stick. You can even slide it out, making it even longer, obviously, right? So from here, you point your thumb at the threat. When you point your thumb at the threat, that just naturally puts it in your backhand. It's in your backhand, you have a thrusting strike and a horizontal strike. The horizontal strike on this one comes from the back. Yeah, I think so too. And you know, luck's always gonna be part of it, but the alternative is nothing. And someone will say, well, you should have a gun. Yeah, of course, if you could have a gun, but most people don't, right? For a million reasons. We're not even gonna, that's just a stupid argument. All right, so from here, it's stupid because yes, of course, if you had a gun, that's better. And second, most people aren't gonna have one. From here to here, I have my thrust and then that backhand, just like when we were here, punching evenly on both sides. From here, my backhand palms facing out, I just punch right through your face, right? Not your face, his face, the guy. Thrust through the face, and then I have this downward angular strike with the back, or the left hand, the front hand. So I'm here, right, here, a lot of places. I mean, a lot of places won't even let you have a stick. Not a lot of places, but there are certainly some places. You go to some Asian countries, especially, where there's not really a lot of safety on the street, but they're taking away the only thing you can defend yourself with if you're a law-abiding citizen and the criminals are walking around with knives. All right, so anyways, I'm here, point the thumb, I have that thrusting motion, I have that punch. And then from here, down at an angle. And then that pushing strike right through there. And notice that when I practice, even when or especially when I teach, I want you to see this commitment of force. Because we talk about street fight self-defense, especially with a martial arts staff, every strike has to be, you have to be trying to stop the fight, right? You're not out there, it's not a boxing match. You're not jabbing for distance, trying to get your jab. And it's not, there's no cage and there's no referee. And you're not testing him out, You want to, he's got a knife. You get him close enough, and he knows what he's doing, you're done. So from here, every strike as hard and as fast as you can. So when you practice that way. Now let's talk about one more level of spin, and this is a wrist roll. I'm gonna start, yeah, and your power is gonna be there too. From here, find the balance. This is my left hand. And again, you can start either hand, doesn't matter. I'm gonna turn it up. Open my hand and allow it to balance on the back of the wrist. Turn the hand and catch it again. So I go over the back. Yeah. Or at least it's enough to make him say, maybe I don't want to come in on this guy and try to take what he has that doesn't belong to me. Right? Or maybe it's 2 or 3 of his friends and they're like, I don't want any part of that stick. Wasn't my idea anyway. All right, so we're coming over the back of the hand for a wrist roll. And I'm slowing down as much as I can because I want you to see it's really a matter of balance. And then you turn your hand. And you can go one way and back the other way. And that's what I want you to do. Wrist roll, wrist roll. And I want you to think of it as pinky side wrist roll and thumb side wrist roll. Yeah, it might be too light. Or it might not work yet. right? I'm gonna look up Inquisitor Blade to try to figure that one out and see what it is. Yes, at the beginning, for sure, definitely is. Just think about what it is. I mean, this is hard, that's soft. At the beginning, my daughter, who's 5, she has this pull-up bar, and they do flips and spin, gymnastics bar. Today, she got her first, at 5 years old, her first blisters. I couldn't be more proud. And she was so strong and proud all day. She was rubbing more chalk in there, getting it stronger. I was showing her how to put a little bit of Neosporin in there, kill all the little germs, keep going with reason, not trying to get hurt. And then her mom shows up. Tears, right? And that's not a criticism of anybody. That's just how we are. We're one way with one person and another way with another person. But the point is, when you start, eventually she won't have any more of those blisters because she'll have thick calluses. It's pretty funny. But she's that type of kid that needs to have calluses, wants to. Yeah, that's you just have to get a feel for it. Me doing this right here, I've done this, I don't know, maybe 1 million times or more over 30 years. And it's not going to take you 30 years to be able to do this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, don't compare what you're doing to mine. Joy, right? Joy is when you feel confident. You don't compare yourself to others. You're present in the moment, all that stuff. And so there's a saying, comparison. Compare your hand to my hand. Your hand, which is a beginner or novice or intermediate, to my hand, which has been doing it for a while. Thinner diameter is better. But train with what you got. She is. And we're all different. Her older brother is not wired the same. And that's not a criticism. He's just different. He's going to be different. He'll find his strength in other ways. But the point is, if you compare your hand to my hand, and I probably had bruising when I started. I just don't remember because it was so long ago. Try the other one. But comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison steals your joy. You start to compare what you have against what other people have. You're going to find people with more, better, different, that you don't have, things that you want, and you're going to be miserable. Your joy is going to just go away. If you, instead of comparing, if you start with what you've got and you show gratitude for what you have, you still have your fingers, right? Or most of them. Maybe you have 3 out of 5. But that's better than the guy that's got none or whatever, right? You woke up this morning. You can still breathe. You can still see. Or maybe you can't see, but you can hear. And in your mind, you can see. It's an interesting comment. Anxious. Yeah. That's good. It's good to be anxious. Anxious, excited. All right, now that you've got that down, right? Maybe you don't have it yet, but you're going to start in this position. You're fighting from behind your staff. Street fight, self-defense. From here, point the thumb, do your first strike, bring your feet together. Your right hand is facing one way, your left hand is facing the other way. Whichever hand is pushing down, go around that wrist with the roll. Step back in that other foot. Put your staff firmly on the ground like you're intending to defend yourself. Point your thumb at the threat, thrust right through their middle section. Come back up to this position and go about this fast at the beginning. Now my left hand is facing down. I'm going to push the staff over the right. Now see, when I push, I keep my hands very close together. You'll get there. Don't worry if you're not there yet. From here, I go back in that first hand, thrust, come back up, stomp it onto the ground, thrust, come back up, stomp, thrust, over and over again. This is your practice, right? With one strike and a spin. Thrust, one strike, thrust, and then go to 2 strikes. Thrust, punch, stomp, thrust, punch. And then after 30 seconds, 3 strikes, and then 4 strikes, 5 strikes, however many strikes you can think of. But put that thrust in the middle and change your foot position. 2 things before we leave. Number 1, I want to show you the footwork. And I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit. Boy, I really appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing. Whether it was right away or after a while, That really helps. If I'm talking about traditional stances first. This is the front stance. From here, thrust, punch, strike, high block, low block, punching, punching. The front knee bends so that if you look down, you can't see your toes. Don't bend it more than that, but bend it enough. If it's like this, that's not enough. Push down the back leg, the knee locks, driving the heel into the floor. You have 7 points on the bottom of your foot. Your heel, your 5 toes, that's 6, and then that outer edge of your foot. You see my feet are dirty. I was outside in the parking lot. Don't do that. Heel, the edge, the 5 toes, so 7 points on both feet on the front stance. Now, 70% of your weight is pushing forward. 30% or 75, 25, doesn't matter, somewhere in that range, you're trying to separate your feet. So you're pushing forward and backward at the same time. That's how you grip the earth. A lot of people don't know it. They just know the bend the knee and the leg straight. But you're also pushing down and apart. That's what a stance is. The second stance is going to be this back stance. My feet make an L. The front foot goes straight ahead, right at my target, so I can go through them. My back foot goes 90 degrees in the opposite direction. And they're in a natural position so that if I step back, I don't trip myself and fall. Make sure your feet aren't so narrow that if you come back, you're gonna trip. You have to be able to fight backward, fight forward, fight back, fight forward. And here, you're pushing back and down. Most of your weight's back here, less is here. You're pushing, again, trying to separate the floor. Those are the 2 basic stances I want you to see. I'm bringing you back up. All right, ask your questions again real quick. I didn't see them. There was something about your hips are turning. Anyway, that's the basics. Don't overthink it. Just make sure that when you're in that front stance, your front foot's straight ahead. It's like shooting, throwing a ball, throwing a knife. You're always going to aim your front toe, the big toe. Axe, you want to go to axe throwing, get really good at it. Good at it from the start because of all this training, right? Point your big toe where you want your axe to go. Point your big toe where you want that thrust to go for self-defense. In the front stance, the back foot will probably kick out just a little bit. But the key is, make sure your feet are as wide as the shoulders are wide. And the outside of your foot comes up through your armpit. That's the center of your shoulder joint. Don't let your stance get so wide. The wider your stance, the lower your center of gravity. When you get in a stance, traditionally, you stay in that stance. So it's almost like the ceiling just fell. You can't go any farther. And from here, you fight in your back. If you're fighting for self-defense, it doesn't matter so much. You don't want to be so low. Because if you're low, you got to come up again to go forward. So from here, you got to go. Yeah, you want to, in a self-defense position, don't think about your feet. Just make sure they're under your body. You don't have to get really wide or really low. From here, standing sideways just a little bit. Here I'm really wide. All my organs are open. Here, I'm behind my stick. Now you got to get through the stick to get to me. And before that happens, I'm going to hit you over and over again. Now let me show you the second thing. And this is how I get my brain to go like this so that my right hand and left hand get closer and closer. And I have a little tightness in my right side. So it might look a little different, but I'm going to show you anyway because I think it's good. For those of you who want to get better, more ambidextrous and better at, and if you play tennis, if you play baseball, if you play cricket, if you play football, American soccer, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. If you get both sides working like this in your brain, you're gonna be so much better at all those sports. Stay right there, I'll be right back. Here it is, I'll tell you what those are for too. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. I made this whole thing up. It's like taiko drumming, like the big Japanese drums. I'll show you that sometime. Anyway, take a ball. I like to use these tennis balls because at the old club where we were in Ohio, we'd go swimming every day, there's some tennis courts, and the high school tennis players, when they get done with them, they just knock them over because they lose their squishiness. Yeah, absolutely. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna throw, I'm gonna show you, I put a dot. There's a dot on the wall. That's my dot. You don't need the dot to start. At first, you're just gonna throw the ball with the right hand, and then it's gonna come back, it's bounced back, throw it with the left hand, throw it with the right hand, throw it with the left hand. 25 with the right, 25 with the left. What's gonna start to happen in your brain is the brain's gonna start to do this, and it's gonna line things up in your natural aim. By the way, what if the world went crazy tomorrow, crazier than it already has, and you gotta fend for yourself, and the only food you can get is that nasty bird or that lizard or that frog or whatever, and you can't get close enough, you don't have a net, you gotta throw a rock and knock them out. So you can go over, skin them with your teeth, put them over a little bit of fire, maybe from your lighter. I was just thinking like how you could do it. I was in the Marine Corps, they teach you how to skin a rabbit with your teeth, so it just popped in my head. It's in some unit, my unit, that's what they taught you because it was like it's cold weather training, right? Anyway, you're stuck in the mountains, what are you gonna do? You make a snare, or you pick up a rock, and you try to hit that thing. And then you have the left hand, right? So you throw right hand, and you throw left hand. And at first, your right and your left aren't gonna be that great. And after a while, if you do this for 6 weeks, I'm not kidding you. When you pick that up, you want it to hit wherever you want it to hit, it's gonna hit there almost every single time. And people are gonna, whoa, that's amazing. But yeah, but it's not just hand-eye, it's something about the brain where your kicks are gonna be more accurate if you kick. Your elbow strikes, your knee strikes. If you, all of the weapons that you do, if you like to shoot bow like I like to shoot bow, if you like to throw knives, whatever it is, you're gonna have, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm gonna go with it. Whatever, wherever you need to aim, wherever your aim has to come in, it's your center line. What's happening is, by throwing, you're aligning everything into your center. So your strikes with all your weapons are gonna be so much faster and so much more accurate because they're coming through your center line. All your punches are gonna be so much more accurate. All of your kicks, everything that I do. When I go and I do some of these shooting courses, I like to do some like really advanced kind of stuff that are more timed and they have different stuff. One of the guys years ago taught this, and he's like, throw it with the right hand and throw it with the left hand equal number of times. If you can't get to the range every day, do that. And when you go to the range, you'll hit the target every single time. I thought, no way, but I always believe everything until I see it. See it doesn't work, right? Believe it and then you'll see it. And I started throwing it. Next time I went, every single time, dead aim, dead aim, dead aim. So get one of these against the wall, or if you have a training partner, throw back and forth with your training partners. It's a great training tool too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Put your comments below, any questions you've got, and